I feel like a long time back when I was doing a South film, they always insisted on feeding the hero first, and I was just like, I'm hungry, and then they were like, but he's in a shot and he'll pick up the plate first, and like bizarre things like that would happen. But because somebody said something about my weight and picked on me, it was a journalist. So, I mean, clearly you're in a business where you need to be sensitive, you need to understand, and it's a woman. Me and four of my other friends, we were there, and then suddenly, like, you know, overnight we were just like, we're done, and they were like, okay, now you got to go your own ways and find your apartments. And I still remember that in the middle of the night we were just like, now what do we do?
Today I have somebody who has been a model, an actress and a talk show host. But above everything, she's been self-made. Joining us to share her own untold story today is Neha Dhupia, only on Pinkvilla. Welcome, Neha.
Thank you.
And you know, we had started this segment, like I told you, to talk about the things that never get spoken about. You know, you were a model initially, and then you transitioned into films. For a lot of models, it has been a very difficult journey because there's a certain preconditioning that is, or a perception that is attached to models. How many times have you been a victim to that?
I haven't really been a victim to that much as, yeah, I feel like convincing people about my craft has taken a little longer for me than it has for a lot of other people. But maybe the truth of it could be maybe because the path that I took at that time, because everyone's social media used to be Miss India. It's like whoever was a Miss India then, because there was no Instagram and there was no, like, you know, Twitter and stuff like that. So everybody would, like, you know, be able to use that as a platform, and not so much now, because now, you know, people can use different things. Not to say that the Miss Indias cannot use that as a platform. They're also still coming in films, but that used to be a big thing. But yeah, so, you know, people had the ability to say that, okay, if this is the person who it is, it's not like we're not going to take her, but maybe, like, you know, in a more sort of objectifying way. And I would not be able to sort of be able to differentiate. And there was a very common term saying glamorous ladki chahiye. So, you know, now of course I think about it and I'm like, you know, I'm not like looking at doing that stuff. But, you know, when you're younger, you want to get cast in, like, you know, doing songs and like looking a certain way and all of that, and it kind of like fit the part for me.
But did you ever feel that at any given point you were typecast? Because in a recent conversation, Isha Kopikar said that, you know, she came up with Khalas and it became a nationwide phenomena. But after that, she used to keep getting, you know, all those songs. You also came up with a song in Qayamat. Did you ever feel that people were, like you said, that people were objectifying you in any way?
No, I feel like I was able to move my path. Like, initially I did films like Qayamat where I was wearing a swimsuit, and I thought, you know, if you're going to wear a swimsuit to represent your nation at Miss Universe, it's probably okay to do it when you're like, you know, making a living. And, you know, it came from a very sort of innocent and ignorant place. But then, you know, you kind of get typecast immediately. And then, of course, I did, you know, this film called Julie, which ended up becoming rather mega in its own way for its own reasons. And then, you know, I had to like step back. And then I started doing more generic films like Chup Chup Ke or Sing Is King or De Danadan, and, you know, just like because I thought I was funny and, you know, I needed to be cast in things like that. And then I was like, okay, I was very quick to switch paths, you know, and that was the thing about me. Like, I was just like, let me always think 2 years ahead of where I want to see myself. And then I did movies like Ek Chalis Ki Last Local, Mithya, Fas Gaye Obama, you know, so, you know, tons of films like that made sense.
Which completely changed the perception also.
Yes, they did. And then I started doing other things. I started producing content. I started doing No Filter After Now. I did Love Stories. I did Tumhari Sullu. I did, like, you know, Ila, lots of films like that. So, you know, with every step or phase in my career, it was just like, okay, this is what I want to do. And now I'm glad that for a little while that, you know, the films didn't happen, and now I'm looking at more acting jobs because I could, you know, spend time, be a mom, and at the same time producing content from home, putting out shows, doing reality shows like Roadies or doing BFFs, and I've been keeping myself busy.
But, you know, you just said that there's a time when every actor, men and women, they are very naive and innocent, right? And this industry somehow takes advantage in in a little way. Has it ever happened where you have been offered a film and you've almost signed it and it's not happened to you for some ridiculous reason, or you've been told that, maybe days before the shoot that, we are going with somebody else?
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know what the reasons have been. But yeah, lots of times the job's been taken away. In fact, sometimes I'm just sitting there saying I'm doing this movie, and suddenly I'm just like, I would read in the papers saying that it's happened. It doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've spent a certain amount of time and you have a foundation in the business, and nobody messes with that foundation. And people reach out to you, and you respect that. Whatever I'm doing, I'm very honest and I'm very upfront saying, hey, this is going to work out, this is not going to work out. So I feel like the business has become a lot more professional now than what it used to be.
But do you remember any of the first times when it happened? How did it shake you up?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like I would be like quite taken aback by the fact that I'd be like, but these people just said I was flying to South Africa for this job. How is somebody else like on the plane already? So yeah, initially it did, and then I would call my parents, and my mom was like, my mom was a very firm believer in teaching me one thing, that jaan hai jahan hai. So like, if you're feeling healthy and you're feeling fine, don't call me and tell me you lost this job, because it's fine. You never had it. It was never meant to be. And my parents have never made a big deal of my success or my failure.
But that's a very sweet thing that your mother said. But has it ever happened when you were really dejected? Like today you said that there was a point of time when you didn't have work and you were okay with it, but when it was happening to you back then, when it was this time when you were starting off, did it bother you then? Did it leave you a little dejected?
Sometimes, but not really like, if I don't have a particular film where I'd be like, hey, this is the film I was meant to do. Sometimes I would make choices and be like, I don't want to do this film, and then I would call the director and be like, hey, have you already cast? And they'd be like, yeah, and I would like want to bang my head against a wall saying that, oh shit, I should have just done this. So yeah, like sometimes you see a film and you're like, but now when I see a film and I see a good one, I reach out to the person and say that next time you're working on something, I want to be a part of it. Like, I loved all the female parts in Mission Mangal, and I would love to do a film like this. And I feel like I'm cut out to like doing cinema like that more than anything else right now. So yeah, I would like to. There are a couple of people I'd love to work with.
But you started off in this city, which is of course a different city altogether. How difficult was it for you to settle in, and how difficult was it for you to move houses and stuff like that? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of times I moved in, like, and for us, because my dad was from the Navy, so it was like a place where we all wanted to live in Cuff Parade, and it was very expensive, and me and 4 of my other friends, we were there, and then suddenly, like, overnight we were just like, we're done, and they were like, okay, now you got to go your own ways and find your apartments. And I still remember that in the middle of the night we were just like, now what do we do? And then we started looking at apartments, and then I moved from Cuff Parade I was in Worli first initially when I came in, and I was being looked after by Times of India because I won. So you have a contract where they give you, and I didn't understand how difficult it would be to find a place. I moved from Cuff, and from there I moved to Andheri, and then I was just like, okay, now I need to like, I wasn't used to living on rent, and then I worked day and night, and you won't believe it, but at the age of 23 I bought a house in Bandra, and I was like, this is really young, but this is really awesome. I told my parents also this, जिस दिन मैं बॉम्बे में मैं सोऊंगी और मैं जब मैं उठूंगी तो मेरे bedside पे एक चाय का गरम cup पड़ा होगा. That's the day I feel I've arrived. So what I did was.
But that was at 23 then.
Yeah, at the tea, the cup of tea kind of like came slightly sooner as well. But at like 23, 24 is when, like, I remember the first time I opened my eyes and I was just like, this is it. I finally arrived. So my needs and my wants are very small. They're very small, and I luckily got married to a man who makes the best tea in the world. I have to say this. There is no one, like, he has magic in his hands.
Have you ever been a victim of sexism? Because when it comes to pay disparity, when it comes to treatment meted out to actors and actresses, and in terms of positioning and all, when you're doing a film, you've done so many.
I feel like a long time back when I was doing a South film, they always insisted on feeding the hero first, and I was just like, I'm hungry, and then they were like, but he's in a shot and he'll pick up the plate first, and like bizarre things like that would happen. But but it was many years ago, and it was just very like, archaic, and things like that don't happen anymore. But it happened once on a set with me, and I just laughed it off. I really did not it really did not bother me, because I was just like, okay, fine, I'll just sit around and like.
Yeah. But another last thing that I would ask you is that, you know, a lot of bullying happens on social media and even in the industry in terms of body weight. In terms of a person's relationship status, like you said that, you know, I know that for a fact you said it that you know, after helicopter Ela and after you got pregnant, offers started drying up. Similarly, you know, body shaming is like huge in the industry, like, and not only in the industry, in the society, because of online. If you see trolls online, they're always doing that. How many times what are the weirdest things that have been told to you, and how do you deal with it?
And I'm going to keep trolls out of it, because I feel like I feel sorry for them, because they need help, they need a life, and they need something better to do. So you can't take one thing and say, oh, trolls do it, because they don't matter. Secondly, if I've suffered it in the business, I feel that, you know, it's something like, for me, the reason why I wrote back online, because somebody said something about my weight and picked on me, it was a journalist. So, I mean, clearly you're in a business where you need to be sensitive, you need to understand, and it's a woman. You know, we don't live in a world where, you know, you bring another woman down who's just given birth. I feel sorry for her as well. So it's just that, and you know, it's a phase. Now, as far as body shaming is concerned, it's very, very simple. Like, you know, you do not have the right to tell me that this circumference on a measuring tape is the perfect circumference. Who decides that, right? Who decides perfection? It's a great time and it's going to change, and I hope and pray that when my daughter is older, there's no talk about, oh, this is the perfect body, and there's no concept of size 0, because these kind of things mess with young girls.
You know, do you think that offers dry up after an actress's marriage and pregnancy?
I mean, no, they change and then you get back into it. I'm back, I'm not complaining, I love the business and I want to continue to be here. I mean, I've been here, what, 18 years
18
now.
years.
If I was 18 years doing somewhere else, I'm like CEO level, yeah.
But thank you for
you
this
very much.
conversation.
Thank you.
And it was lovely to have you, you know,
Thank you very
because
much.
such a strong person, strong voices need to come out.
Thank you very much.